The Miami Heat are coming off one of the most impressive seasons that I have ever seen, finishing in the 8th seed with a record of 44-38. Almost nobody had them coming out of the Eastern Conference, let alone winning a series. Now, let me just talk about what they went through in the first play-in tournament game. They lost to the Atlanta Hawks and then almost lost the second game to the Chicago Bulls, finishing in the 8th seed, and they had to go against one of the best teams in the entire NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks, in the first round. Now, in the first round, it was a very interesting series. Tyler Hero went down early, Giannis went down early, and it was a bloodbath from game one. However, Miami was the better team in the entirety of the series, and they ended up winning that series 4-1. Incredible series. They went on and they, beat the New York Knicks. Kind of, did their thing against guys, wanted to make sure that they booked themselves a trip to the NBA Finals. And that's exactly what they did. They got to the NBA Finals, and it seems like the impossible is almost completed. They just had to win 4 more games. However, if we do remember, if you're a Miami Heat fan, throughout the season, this team looked decent, but it didn't look as good as it could potentially be. Now, Jimmy Butler had a lot on his hands, and Miami was, a team that was counting on Caleb Martin and, Duncan Robinson and, Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love. Throughout this playoff run, they were counting on these guys, Gabe Vincent. They're counting on those guys to really take a step up and lead this team in the right direction with Jimmy Butler. And to be fair, they did that throughout the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. But when they started playing the Nuggets, that's when things looked a little bit slow, because the Nuggets, we have to understand, the Nuggets are one of the most insane teams that I have ever seen in terms of cohesiveness. They play great team basketball, and in the finals, it showed. Now, throughout the season, throughout the finals, we noticed that the Heat were missing just one thing. Just one thing, and if we go back to what the stats show, the Heat had one of the best defenses in all of the NBA. Top 2 pretty much all season. In terms of points per game, they ranked dead last. So we knew coming in to the playoffs that the Heat team needed to make a move if they couldn't win the finals. And guys, we have some breaking news that I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, before we get into the video, before we talk about Bradley Beal and how he could affect the Miami Heat going to 2024 and what it would take to get a guy like Bradley Beal, make sure you guys do me a huge favor. Smash that like button. Let's see if we can get this video to 1,000 likes. I know Miami Heat fans, you might not be, too interested in talking about this right now. But listen, the Heat just went to the NBA Finals. They were 3 games away from winning it all. And they definitely need to make a move going into this offseason, and they just might do that. So hit that like button if you're excited for potentially adding Bradley Beal. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join the family. I will be covering the entirety of the NBA offseason, which includes free agency, the draft, summer league, everything that you can think of. I got you guys covered. And one more thing, I am going to be reacting to games next season. And what I mean by that, I'm going to go live on my channel watching Miami Heat games. So if you ever want to come, relax, chill, watch a game with me, make sure you guys join the family as well. So make sure you guys subscribe, join the family, turn on post notifications so we can, build this family. Let's get it going. Now, let's get right into the video. Now, obviously, Bradley Beal is a 3-time All-Star for the Washington Wizards, who looks to, he wants his way out. He wants his way out. He wants to get a trade. And it looks like right now it's between the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors, and there's also another team in the mix. I believe it's the Phoenix Suns. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, obviously, we know the Heat in terms of what they can give up might not be the best, but I think they might have the most that anybody can offer in terms of, matching contracts and maybe picks. Now, I would say Golden State is a team that has a lot of young players that they can give up in terms of Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, but I think the Heat have what it takes to get this deal done. Now, I have heard that they do not want to give up Tyler Hero in any trade, which is okay. I do think that, Miami can still get a deal done without giving up Tyler Hero. Now, I did hear today as well that they're trying to re-sign Gabe Vincent, so I wouldn't expect Gabe Vincent to be in the deal either, because he's, primarily going to be their point guard. But what I would say they're trying to give up here is, Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry is someone that they could give up, as well as, Duncan Robinson might be a guy that they want to give up. And those 2 guys could definitely match up the salary to get Beal, but that's not it. They would have to give up some good picks as well. So we'll see what ends up happening in terms of what they give up. But if I'm the Heat, I don't trade, Jimmy. I don't trade Gabe Vincent. I don't trade Bam Adebayo. I don't trade Tyler Hero. But you're going to have to give up some young pieces. Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, one of those guys might have to go, along with Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Victor Oladipo. I think so. Victor Oladipo, Kyle Lowry, and Duncan are the three people that two of the three need to be traded in order to match salaries. And then I would also expect Nikola Jovic and Haywood Highsmith to be thrown into the deal as well with some first-round picks. Listen, Bradley Beal, like we said, a three-time All-Star. If he wants to go to Miami, then Miami's going to have to give up some pieces in return. And I would even say the trade package I just said wouldn't even be that bad. I think that would be a pretty good trade package for not only the Heat, but for the Wizards as well, who's trying to dump some salary and trying to, move on to the future. Now, the one thing that makes this so hard is Bradley Beal's massive 5-year, $251 contract that starts this season. So, if Miami did go out and trade for a guy like Bradley Beal, you guys would have him for 5 years. He also has a no-trade clause, but I do think he would waive it for the Miami Heat. So, that is a good thing. But I listen, in terms of the fit, I think it would be a perfect fit. Like we said a little bit earlier on in the video, Miami had the 30th best offense in the NBA in terms of points per game. That is dead last. They also had the number 29th offense in terms of fast break points per game. They had the number 27th in points in the paint per game, 25 in assists per game, 25 in total rebounds per game, and overall, they just were not a great team overall. Now, let's move on to three-point percentage. They ranked number 22 in three-point percentage per game, number 23 in two-point percentage per game, number 26 in shooting percentage per game, and overall, they were just not a good offensive team. Defensively, they were, top tier, one of the best in the game. Now, if you add a guy like Bradley Beal to that, you're immediately going to get better. Now, Bradley Beal, averaged 22.1 points per game throughout his career and has proven himself to be an elite scorer. His defense hasn't been at an all-NBA level, and we get that. That would kind of switch things up from being the Miami Heat's, culture being a defensive-minded team. But I think Bradley Beal could overcome that and, make himself a huge contributor on this team next season by just being a scorer. Now, obviously, Miami plays great defense, and they have a great, head coach in Eric Spoelstra. I think he could really help out in terms of, hiding Bradley Beal's defense ability, getting switches, and communicating defense. I think they can help Bradley Beal with no question. Now, I think Bradley Beal has what it takes to be one of the best scorers in the entire NBA. Look back to 2019 and 2020 season. Beal averaged a career-high 30 points per game. Now, guys, if you even remotely get close to that for a guy like Bradley Beal in Miami, do you know how much better they will be? Just think about a lineup with Gabe Vincent, Bradley Beal, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. You can throw in Tyler Hero in there or have Tyler Hero come off the bench. I mean, that offensive lineup right there is 10 times, if not 20 times better than it was last season. And then off the bench, you still got Caleb Martin, you got Tyler Hero, you got Kevin Love, there's guys everywhere that can still help you. Max Strus can get in the starting lineup. Right away, that is a much better team. Much better team. He also was scoring or shooting 45.5% on his field goal percentage. And then the following year, Bradley Beal managed to improve. Now you go to 2020, 2021. He scored or averaged 31.3 points per game while shooting 48% from the field. Guys, Beal has also averaged 1.2 steals per game in that season and, has hovered around that number throughout his career. I think Bradley Beal is someone who would be an absolute amazing fit for the Miami Heat if he was to be traded there. And this is one thing Miami needs to do. I mean, it looks like Damian Lillard's going to stay put in Portland, looking like they really want to build around him right now. But listen, the Miami Heat need to make a move. It doesn't seem like their offense is ready to compete, and I get it, Tyler Hero was out, but adding a guy like Bradley Beal not only makes them a whole lot more dynamic, but it makes them way more versatile as well. Bradley Beal, one of the best scorers in the league. If he comes over here to Miami, watch out. This could be a deadly team in 2024 or 2023, 2024. Could be incredible. Like I said, they're coming off the 8th seed, but this team still has a lot of potential. They have a lot of guys who fight, a lot of guys who want to play for that Heat culture, and I think Bradley Beal would be a phenomenal fit going forward for them. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think it would take to pry away a guy like Bradley Beal from the Wizards? Give me your trade package. Give me your dream scenario trade package. Also, I need you guys to smash that like button really quickly. Like I said, let's see if we get up to 1,000 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Join the family. I'll be covering the entirety of the offseason as well as streaming Miami Heat games next season. So if you guys ever want to watch a game with me, make sure you guys join the family. But with that being said, that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Today's video is brought to you by Pro Class, the absolute best place for you to take your game to the highest level. It's the first of its kind sports training and development platform where you can reach your highest potential by learning from some of the best athletes on the entire planet. Some of these guys include Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, Allen Iverson, DeMar DeRozan, and so many more. And I have some great news for you guys. If you guys go use my code MattyDubs, you'll get 50% off hundreds of training videos, workouts, and drills, and you can get in the lab right now. So go check it out. Go steal some of the secrets from some of the top players in the world right now. And if you are interested in developing your skills at any level, if you play in middle school, high school, college, or if your goal is just to be a better athlete, a better basketball player, this is where you need to go. Nobody else does this. Go check them out, and you can learn, develop your skills at a fast pace, high speed level. Click the link in the description for instant access to all of the secrets in the world. And remember, using code MattyDubs will get you 50% off right now, so don't miss out on this offer.